welcome to my new video, Drawing in Design and Architecture. And today I would like to explore a little bit the subject of digital tablets. And I'm going to use for this three essential actually existing on the market. Tablets, like one is going to be the vacuum tablet, which I am using for many years. And another one, the new concurrent of the vacuum Exensor Labs tablet, which is actually in quality the same. It's just that it's better in sense that they offer a little bit more. Instead of one pencil, you get two pencils, and you get also the quick key, which is very significant, deal, because when you on the vacuum tablet, you would have to buy the additional pen and the quick key, in addition to the basic, price of the tablet. And the iPad tablet. So I would rather, anyone who who really actually desires to start drawing on digital tablets, and anyone who would like to use the surfaces as a paper. Yeah, they hardly comparable to the paper because iPad is very glossy, even if you put the kind of matte, protector on the screen and everything. So it's not really nice picture after if you use the iPad for other things. And even if you put this kind of, protector, matte protector, which would supposedly allow you to draw and feel a little bit much more like paper, is nothing to compare to real paper, really. And any of these tablets actually do not offer anything which is comparable to the paper. Of course, this is my personal opinion. I am artist who draw a lot on the paper or all kind of papers. And when I travel, I always draw on the kind of, traditional mediums and media. So for example, the sketchbooks or for all kinds and any other medium of all kinds, not digital ones during my travels. So, but anyway, there's anyone who would like to really adapt these surfaces, because the question is to, get used to it. So you have to allow yourself certain time, which would allow you actually to kind of feel much more comfortable, and maybe in certain way, you might adapt them as the replacement of the paper, because in the digital world today, more and more we draw, we use the digital way of drawing, because it's kind of, it's a response to our contemporary reality much more than the traditional mediums. And there's many advantages that you don't have to scan anything, you don't have to take picture of your original work, you have everything there, is ready to publish anytime you want, in any format you want. So it's great, really advantage, to this. But regardless what the companies say about that is so great, is like feel like a paper, whatever. Well, that's subjective. That's not really objective opinions, because some artists might actually, very easy adopt these surfaces, and others need to have a certain time to kind of convince themselves that this is kind of like a paper. But most artists, of course, they use the tablets, and any software they use the rulers. They don't do kind of gestural straight lines or circles or any other things, to kind of really behave as they would on the paper. So I would like to show you certain exercises which would kind of help you to feel on any of those three tablets I choose for today session, much more like, like you would use normal paper. Yeah. So I don't going to use any tools which the software offers. And I would advise you also learn to draw if you want to feel really, or use the tablets, any of them, as something which would replace the sketchbook, yeah, or any other, paper and mediums. I would suggest you to practice your coordination, with straight lines, with strokes, with circles, with certain, exercises I'm going to show you in this video. So any of you who want to really start drawing on the digital tablets, that is very good practice. And you have to practice a lot. You have to really work many hours to get kind of used to it. And the tablets, they have very good advantage. You see, except the iPad, for example, when you have to somehow punch a little bit, lean the head in front so you can kind of sketch and draw on the screen. Like, for example, similar to the Cintiq. Cintiq screens, actually, to me, they're the most closer feeling of drawing on the paper. The only problem with those, even with you have the ergonomic kind of, stands, whatever, you can adjust the position of the Cintiq screen, it's still your neck gonna hurt. If you work more than 10 hours a day drawing, you're going to be invalid in a few months. Yes. So it's very hard for the neck. So the tablets is the only option to really be happy and sketch, comfortably. Because why? Because you always stay straight. Yeah. And you're looking at the screen. Yeah. And the best is to buy any kind of screen, larger screen, not the laptop screen, but larger screen you have independently, to which you connect, of course, your laptop or any other kind of computer, and the tablets and so on, and you use the screen as a surface. So, and in addition, if you buy ergonomic chair, yeah, will really be, you will be very comfortable working long hours a day, doing all your practicing and everything very comfortably. So I choose the tablet for my work because I am working many hours a day, drawing, explaining things to my students and my other professional work. So I would be really very tired if I would use either Cintiq or I would draw on the iPad, all the time, because it would involve me to always have the head a little bit leaning down, okay, looking at the screen. Yes, looking for the comfortable position is very hard with those mediums which you draw on the screens. So tablet is the best. Yes, and it's very comfortable. You transport this, it's not very heavy, and it gives you all the comfort necessary. Even if you travel and you use the screen of your laptop, you still, those tablets today, they offer you to actually not connect necessarily with the cables, the tablet, but you do by the Bluetooth, yes, connections, and you can sit on the chair. You can keep your laptop on the table somewhere, or in the airport, whatever, or in any other place, cafeteria, whatever. You can sit comfortably and take the tablet and treat it actually as the surface of the sketchbook. So, but in order to be able to do this, of course, it takes some time. So anyone who is actually buying the tablet, it's if you're going to draw, if you're going to use the tablet, drawing in the software with the tools the software offers to you, it's going to take you hours to do one sketch. You have to learn, independently. You have to learn as you would draw with the free hand. So that's what the exercises today going to be about, to allow you to prepare yourself, how to adapt the surface, not as really digital in the real sense when you use all the tools and the software offers, but you treat it as really you would have a pen, a piece of paper, and you will kind of freehand draw anything you like there. Okay, so let's start, and we're gonna go one by one, and I'm going to show you different exercises which you can actually practice on those surfaces. It doesn't matter, you have vacuum, you have Labs, or you have another one tablet. This exercise is adopted to any tablet. Because I have those three, so I'm going to talk about only those three. Yeah, but my son is using the Huon tablet, which is very good, also works perfectly well. So any of those tablets are very great, but what you really gain is the healthy way of drawing. It means that you're always straightforward to the screen. Yeah, and your back is always straight. You don't have to lean the neck or something in front, or something, or punch it in front. You're comfortable. You look there and you draw down there on the tablet. So you have to coordinate this, what you look at And with your kinetic movement of your arm, of your hand, what you're doing down there. You don't look on the tablet what you're doing because you don't going to see anything. Yeah, the only thing you see is in front of you or on the screen of your laptop. So it doesn't matter if you look at the laptop or on the screen, you will have full comfort of working. It is why, to me personally, as an artist, a tablet is the only option to draw many hours a day and don't feel it like I do anything, because I am not get tired. In the other mediums, I would be tired. Yeah, I was using this, in many different occasions at school, and so it's not really something which I would rather like to have it. So my choice is the tablets. So let's go, and we're going to go one by one, and I'm going to show you a little bit how on each of them we can do some kind of exercises. Yes. Okay. So let's start. If you want to use the iPad for sketching, for example, and sketching the way as you would do, for example, or on your sketchbook. So you forget the tools. You just treated the surface as it would be, the surface of your sketchbook or on the paper. So first, train yourself with the vertical lines and try to make them as straight as possible with one gesture. Yeah. So you just simply go and try to make it as many, go along whatever to the end of the screen. And after, you can choose different color or just repeat the lines approximately on these lines you have done before. Yeah. So you just kind of try to, retrace them. Yeah. And after, try to do it horizontal, the same, one gesture, but you have to do this much more faster. Yeah. As you would sketch normally. Yes. So you do these lines horizontally, try to retrace them as well. Yeah. So you just kind of go there and try to retrace these lines. And after, you will go, of course, diagonally. Yeah. Diagonally here and there. You can also go in different angles, but the important thing is that you drag the lines straight forward very fast and as straight as you can. So that's the essential point. You can create your own exercises, like, for example, kind of maze. Yeah, even if they are not perfect, you can go this way, and this way, and this way, and just go this way, this way. Try to kind of work with it without disconnecting from the surface. Yes, you can also do like this, that you do kind of cross one, cross another. Yeah, vertical, horizontal, as many as possible and as perfect as you can. Yeah, crosses. Yes, crosses. Yeah, anything which is kind of, you see, a straight line. Yes. So as I previously mentioned, it could be also rectangles. Yeah, could be vertical rectangles, could be diagonal rectangles. Yeah, could be square, this way, vertically, this way. What this exercise is actually going to do for you, you're going to kind of have the kind of built in already perception of different forms, and depend which way you go with them. Yeah, and this way, for example, but just only one stroke all the time. You can also make, like, for example, few points everywhere randomly on the surface of your tablet. Yeah, in different, of course, different places. And when you start connecting those points with the straight lines, yeah, you do not disconnect the pen from the surface of the screen. So you just do kind of, and always straight line. You connect straight line. Yeah, straight line here, there. Try to get as straight as possible. Yeah. Of course, on the iPad, you're going to feel the sliding the pencil on the, as you would skate, for example, on the glass. Yeah, but that's kind of exercises would give you a little bit much more control on the surface. Yeah, you will kind of learn this to control yourself, and connecting all kind of points, even if they are not perfectly, for example, straight, but still every gesture you do, for example, yeah, you will have, less or more straight line. Yeah, so try to connect all the lines you have possibilities to do so. And here I am kind of having camera in front, so it's kind of bothering a little bit the you know, I don't have full view on the tablet, but normally if you put the tablet normally of your knees or somewhere on the table, whatever, you have no distraction in front and don't have any camera here. So you can do this much more better. So this kind of, and again, you can again take another color, for example, yeah, and you can try to retrace this all this kind of connection you have done here with kind of, you know, as perfect straight lines as possible, yeah. You go there, you go there, you go there, you go there. You might even discover some new ones, yeah, connections here and there. So you can kind of continue, you know, playing with this, you know, as long as you kind of connect all the points or retrace all of them, yeah. Okay, so you have many possibilities, you know, to connect these points. So this kind of exercises, more you do them, much more better you're going to be actually controlling the you're going to better control this entire for example surface. Yes, not bad idea is to do also circles, yeah, one circle larger, yeah, smaller, one gesture, yeah, one gesture, yeah, smaller, larger, yeah, whatever, yeah. And also what you do, ellipses as well, yeah, ellipses, you know, ellipses, any angle. And the good ellipse is, the perfect ellipse is when you divide this vertically, horizontally, you have four the same parts. So be careful when you do the ellipses, so they look like ellipses, yeah, not like this, for example, yeah, this is not ellipse. Ellipse is rather, you know, something of this kind and something of this kind, yeah. And larger, you know, any kind of angle, this way, another way, yeah. So just kind of try to really do the ellipses free-handed, yeah. Don't try to use any tools which the software offers. You do everything free-handed. And because at the end is going to help you in your sketching. So for example, if you would like to sketch a mug, yeah, coffee mug, you see, you do the ellipse, yes, you do few straight lines, yes, and you do another ellipse on the base, isn't it? If you do another coffee, for example, cup, yeah, the one which you can kind of get in McDonald's or any other kind of, you know, forms, something around those lines, yes. So you do the coffee is there, yeah, is coffee there, for example, yes. And if you want to kind of make the handle, you know, that is on the line, here you have it, one ellipse, another ellipse, and you also have the curves over there going, yeah, for the handle, yes, of this mug. Okay, so any kind of other, you know, strokes you do after is a core shadows, yeah, or you apply some kind of, you know, cross-hatching here and there, cross-hatching here and there for the shadows and so on, yeah. Anything you do after you draw, yeah, any kind of forms, you know, even in perspective, some kind of, you know, pull here or whatever, yeah. So you do this stroke, you're going to be much more comfortable to do these strokes. And as you learn to sketch that way, you will really understand, you know, much better the surface, and you will be much more comfortable with any kind of drawing you would like to make on this surface. You can make, for example, kind of eggs, yeah, okay, and you can kind of practice yourself, of course, like this with the strokes, yes, with kind of coarse shadows, yes, on the surface of this egg, for example, yeah. So you go a little bit different direction this way, for example, yeah. And more you do this kind of strokes, much better, you know, you're gonna get there. So you might have another making an egg, for example. You also control yourself, because you see, in the egg surface is what? This is much more kind of conical one, the first part, and another is much more rounder part, isn't it? Yeah. So doing eggs is yet another kind of form which you can actually practice. Yes, practice from one kind of, you know, gesture. So any kind of ovalish form, for example, yeah, you might do something like this, for example, yeah, and then you go that way and you try to do the same, yeah. You can do another one over there. So any kind of exercises, you can be creative actually to creating them by yourself. all kind of, possibilities there. And you can even fill the X with straight lines, one way, for example, another way, yeah. So you're going to kind of fill with the straight line the X, yeah, angularly, okay. You can even add more and do kind of, you see, square surface, yes. So you can also go this way, yeah, this way and this way, yeah. So anything you draw there, you can kind of repeat a little bit inside this kind of gesture. And here you will repeat smaller, yes, smaller, yeah. One gesture. Try to do one gesture. Try to not do these exercises this way, yeah, so you cannot make it, for example, perfect ellipse. You will try to make it so slowly. No, that's not this. You need to do much more faster, yeah, much more faster. For example, the ellipse, yeah. Anyway, you go, you just go and practice as many times as you get perfect ellipse, yes. So sometimes if it's crooked, just try to work a little bit longer, so you make this a little bit better, yeah. So anyway you go, this way or the other way, try to really, that's the way to, kind of make it the surface, feel the surface better and orient yourself in the kind of glossy surface of the iPad. If you want to, of course, treat the surface as you would on the sketchbook, yeah. So after, of course, you can go any kind of, you will actually have better understanding of the surface. You will kind of have better coordination and control of this entire surface when you do any kind of sketches, yeah. You see this kind of sketches, everything, yeah, whatever you want to draw, yeah, you can practice, yes, some kind of shading like this, like this, like this, like this. So anything you draw, kind of tree, whatever is there, yeah, a little bit kind of, for example, if you draw kind of, landscape there, yeah, and there, yeah. So you kind of have a little bit better orientation in the entire surface, drawing anything else. But before you start drawing a little bit much more elaborated drawing, the very essential thing is to really start with straight lines and straight lines. So I just kind of gonna, conclude this part with the iPad surface, that, for example, you will kind of start with what? First, vertical lines, vertically, yeah. After horizontally, as good as you can. Diagonally, yeah. Diagonally, okay, straight. And of course, angularly, any way you want, but always need to be straight, 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 straight. Another exercise would be what? Do kind of squares, yeah. It's one gesture, you just go that way, yeah. You can actually make rectangles and squares at the same time, yeah, whatever. And one gesture, you can also make them in different angle, yeah. This angle, for example, yeah, this kind of angle, yeah, this kind of angle, whatever. It could be rectangle, could be square, smaller ones, much more smaller and much more larger, whatever. And then circles, one, smaller, larger, yeah, smaller, let's say a little bit larger, and so on, yeah, on the change. And also ellipses, very important to do ellipses, yeah, because the ellipses, most of the time you're going to use it when you draw, of course, all kind of elements, yeah, which are kind of rounded, yeah, and cars, whatever, yeah, whatever you're going to actually draw, and when you're going to draw some kind of forms. So again, circles, yeah, really small ones, and one gesture. Try to kind of be one gesture, make one circle, yeah. Smaller, larger, whatever is the form, and you can play with it with kind of straighter lines here, yeah, maybe a little bit vertical over there, and this kind of directions here and there. Any kind of compositions you can create yourself, and you're going to be much more you're going to kind of learn the surface, and the gesture, what you're going to do that. And after, you can also do kind of series of curved lines, curved lines. For example, let me just clear this. So you can do series of what? Curved lines, yeah, look, curved, yeah, and try to keep it the same space between them, yeah. Another would be do the curved lines this way, yeah. Oh, it depends how it goes. From some direction might be better, easier than from the other. and again, this way, this way. So now you do the curved lines, yes, which also gonna serve you, you know, for all kind of objects you're going to draw in the future, you know, or sketch on the tablet. You're going to have really very comfortable, you know, gestural lines. If you practice this kind of exercises only with lines, yes, you can be creative. You can do many, all kind of different exercises with lines. On the tablets, like for example, the Extensa Labs, they offer you two pencils, yeah, different. One is laser pencil, the other is kind of much more ergonomic shape, similar as the vacuum tablet. So on the Extensa Lab tablet, for example, this is the small, yes. So the same thing, glove is very important because the moisture on your hand, you need to have a glove. Without glove, you're not going to be very comfortable on the tablet. So it's very, you know, the surface is very nice. You know, you don't see what you draw. You don't look at the tablet when you sketch on this, on the Extensa Labs, yes, or any other tablet, for example, like here is, for example, the vacuum tablet, yes, which is kind of a little bit different design, yes, and is much more larger. This is the medium size, yeah, and you have, of course, you know, only the ergonomic pencil there. So when you buy the vacuum, you have only one pencil. If you buy the Extensa Lab, you know, you have two pencils, and furthermore, you have the lights here, yeah, you see on the tablet there, you have nice lights. And here we don't have lights or anything, but we have the quick kind of keys board, which I personally don't like it, but anyway, it doesn't matter. And you actually, you see, you draw with the vacuum, whatever, you know, exercises I am going to show you now. So let's try now how the tablet is going to work and what kind of exercises you can practice. So you practice on the tablet the same what I just showed you on the iPad already, but I'm going to give you some new ones, which you also can try to practice on the iPad or any kind of other tablet besides the Extensa Labs or the vacuum tablet, might be Huon or any other tablet available. You can do the same exercises. It doesn't matter which kind of digital tablet you choose for your practice, or you know, it depends on the budget, of course, because some tablets is much cheaper than the others. But I would rather, if you're serious about digital art, I would go for the most expensive, and because those are they offer you, you know, much more sensitivity and everything, and it's very important when you're sketching and you do some kind of very nice touches here and there. They're very important to have the actually you know, the professional, rather, I would say, tablet than any other cheap version of it. If you're serious about digital art, you always head for something a little bit better. And this tablet is going to serve you for many, many years. Yeah, you just have to change sometimes the surfaces, yeah, and so on, all the nibs and the pens. But in general, is you're buying actually something which was what you're going to spend many, many hours, you know, when you're going to sketch your creative work. Let's try now. I show you a little bit much more other exercises of the coordination. Yeah, so let's go and try how it's going to work now on the tablets. So the first, I choose the vacuum tablet, okay, for the exercises. So I show you previously on the iPad, of course, the vertical lines, horizontal lines, you know, diagonal lines, yes, one way and the other 45-degree, and of course, all kind of different angles of lines. The important is that they might have to be straight and with one gesture, yeah. So don't try to do the lines like this, yeah. No, you just make really gestural lines. Anything you do is gestural. And the same when you do, for example, circles, try to do them, you know, one gesture kind of, you know, don't work too long on those. Yeah, you can make one twice or something, and whatever comes out is no problem. More you're going to do them, better they're going to be. Yeah, and you're going to have better kind of, you know, feeling of this, you know, circle and whatever. And the same is going to be with the ellipses. Yeah, so it's very important, you know, to learn all kinds of ellipses, much more open ellipses, much more narrower ellipses, whatever, but ellipses. And of course, as you remember, is the squares, yeah, one gesture all the time. Rectangle, one gesture, yeah. So any kind of angle you go with the rectangle, one gesture, yeah. So over here, over there, yeah, and so on. Gestural lines at the same time. You practice, coordinate the rectangles or the squares, and at the same time, you do straight lines in different angles. So it's very important. And now, once you do all these kind of exercises, yeah, you can actually go and try to kind of coordinate them a little bit in some kind of series of exercises. And what I mean by, for example, you will try to, do the circles. So you can try, as I or have on my YouTube channel, these coordination exercises. So you have small circle and try to now do much more larger circle, yeah, okay, and as perfect as possible. And then you do smaller one. Do not disconnect your pencil from the surface. And again, you try to do it larger, yeah, okay. And you see, on the iPad was easier because you were looking at the screen. Here, I look at the screen, but I draw on the surface of my table, yeah. So these coordinations will demand a little bit much more perception, yeah, much more kind of control of yourself. And then try to retrace them, yeah, similar way. So you just go there and try to keep the hand in the air, yeah, okay, and try to kind of, redraw the same, the same, for example, pattern as you did in the beginning. So you can go, you see here with the red now, yeah, and you can kind of go and try to make it, less or more the same way. So as you practice this, just go this way or the other way or whatever. Yeah, you just kind of retrace the form. That's very, very good practice. For example, another would be you can do the same thing, of course, with what? With the ellipses, yes? So you can start like this, for example, and now you do with the horizontal ellipse, yes? The same, all the same ellipses try to do. Vertical ellipse, and again, horizontal ellipse, but try to align with the other one, yes? Okay, and again, vertical ellipse, yes? And again, try to, go the horizontal. So try to less or more keep them the same, but you do this fast. You don't do kind of slowly. You just kind of really put it much more, speed to it. And of course, you can do the retracing after, yeah, going back, yeah, the same way, yeah. So you just go this way, yeah, and try to retrace all these forms, yeah, as you go over there, and try to just simply retrace them, You can go a few times, right, left, whatever, yeah, by retracing these forms, and you see when you're going to kind of align the line, you will have them less or more, you see, the same. And look, the spaces here and spaces there, the same, yes. And of course, the ellipses are vertical. If you put kind of vertical lines into the middle of these ellipses, you're going to have half ellipses, isn't it? And the same, if you go here, you would have the same there, yeah. So that's kind of, you see, possibility of, there's many, of course, ways you can work with the ellipses or with the circles. You might go, for example, series of the same circles, yeah, you connect them, yeah, together, yeah. So you just kind of go and try to connect, and you look at straightforward to the screen, and try to coordinate your hand with your mind, yeah, whatever with your actually sight, what you see, yeah. You control this and looking at this screen, and now kind of recapitulating, kind of retracing, yes, all these circles, yeah, briefly going, there and there, yeah, okay, few strokes around here and there, yeah. So again, if you put kind of vertical lines, yeah, over there, they kind of the same, align. And you can also work any kind of angle you want with the circles. You can go this way, diagonally, yeah, diagonally, any way you want, yes. You can make it a little bit kind of this kind of, let's say, angle, yeah, and try to have always the same circles, yes, okay. So there's many things you can do as you previously did, the small one and the larger one, again, the small one, and the larger one, yeah. So you would do the same. You will kind of align the small ones, yeah, and the large ones, yeah, over here, over there, and you will have the same space here, the same space here, yeah, okay? So circles, ellipses, this kind of exercises on the tablet, any tablet, either the digital one, which is kind of on the table, or on your iPad, whatever, try to do the same. Of course, it's going to take you some time to be kind of in control of these forms, but it's worth it because after you have no whatsoever problem sketching anything you want, because you're going to have these strokes really kind of, automatically you're going to put them, yeah, any kind of curves of the head you want to do or something, you're going to be able to do it much more, nicely and faster, and so on, yeah. So that's something that's why you train yourself with this kind of lines, so you're going to be able with one stroke, to do whatever you want, yeah, hair, for example, chin, cheeks, or whatever, yeah. So all this sketching after, you're going to come much more easier to you, much more, nicer effects you're going to have, because you're not going to kind of go and oops, this is the front, yeah, this is this eye over there, there's the nose, okay, this is this kind of going to kind of sculpt on the paper, yeah, or the surface of the tablet. No, it's not about that. You have to make it right away, whatever you want to draw, yeah, kind of gestural lines. So for example, you do the eye, you do the eye, yes, you draw the eye a little bit from the side, okay, fine. But you see what I'm doing here? Circles, yeah, okay, and after a little bit shadow here, and go with this line, you see gestural lines, yeah, gestural lines. So now you have the eyelashes here, yeah, a little bit there and there and there. See all these kind of things, a little bit here, something around those lines, yeah, a little bit this part of the eye, and then you have what? You have this inner part of the eye, and then you have what? Eyebrow, yes. So the same eyebrow, you see, you get certain control of the line of the eyebrow, yeah, and you have some kind of shadows there. So whatever you're going to use, the kind of strokes, making any kind of shadow, either under the eye or on the side of the eye, whatever, those kind of natural strokes, you're going to be able to do perfectly well, but it's going to take you some training to do with this kind of exercising I'm showing you here, yeah. So you can create your own, of course, a manner of doing any kind of strokes, and the same you can do as the angular kind of way. You can do also with the, for example, with the ellipses, yeah, you can go the same way, yeah. And furthermore, okay, you can go that direction, yes, or you can make the ellipses small ellipse, yeah, larger ellipse, small ellipse, larger ellipse, yes, or you can make it them angularly, one ellipse, another ellipse, one ellipse, another ellipse, yes. So this kind of coordination exercises with the ellipses, with the circles, lines and squares and rectangles, you can actually make it, prepare yourself to kind of feel very comfortable with the tablets, yes. And of course, this exercise is the same. If you want to learn on drawing on the paper, you would do the same thing, because everything is in the coordination of your movement. In the digital tablet, this is a little bit different, because as you know, you will have surface on the table and you have the screen, yes. Ideally would be, as I mentioned already, that you have 90 degrees here, yeah. But it could be straight here, for example, but the surface over here you might have a little bit angular, yeah. You can also put the tablet that way, yeah, on the edge of the table or something, yes, in order to have this kind of surface. So you're going to look, especially when you work on the iPad, so you look perpendicularly to your iPad, yes, and you know that iPad you can also have a screen connected to it. So, but on the tablets, you rather walk that way, yeah, that you look at the screen, yeah, and draw on the surface, yeah. That's what you actually making, how you work on the tablets, yes. So let's move now to I'm going to change the tablet for the Sensor app, and we're going to do other series of exercises, the kind of conclusion of the coordination exercises, I'm going to show you on the other tablet. soon as you make all the kind of, you know, elliptic forms, yeah, all kind of circular, you know, circle kind of forms, you know, and straight lines one way, another, you know, vertical or whatever, horizontal, yeah, this kind of exercise. Oh, and the squares, I forgot the squares, yeah, gestural kind of 1, 1, 1, 1. Try to make it as perfect as possible, either is the square or rectangle in this angle and this angle, whatever, yeah. You know that in rectangle or square, you have always 90-degree corner, isn't it? So you can also, of course, do different geometric forms, yeah, a little bit kind of diamond or something, pyramidal one, triangles, yes. You can have all kind of like this, triangles, for example, yeah, any kind of forms you can actually practice, but do this with gesture. What I mean that you don't draw like this, these forms, because this is not, you don't going to gain much confidence in your hand when you sketch very difficult forms. You need to make them really gestural. So any kind of forms you want to do, try it with gesture, straight line, horizontal, whatever, angular line. Anything you do needs to be kind of with gesture. So now, regarding the coordination exercises, we'll conclude here with kind of, you know, coordination exercises in the calligraphic way. So what you would do, you would kind of go with kind of I, you see, you know, this kind of I, yeah. So you would do it kind of, you know, I, yes, and you go there and try to get them as perfect as possible, yeah. This kind of, you know, calligraphic I, and you can try it again. And faster you do, of course, better results you're going to have. But you know, this can, and you can also retrace them, yeah, back, yeah. So you can kind of go back, you know, with the hand in the air. Try it, hand in the air, and try to kind of retrace now the eye. Yes. So either you go one way, for example, yeah, one way, and after you get back and try to kind of retrace those lines, you know, doesn't matter if sometimes you just go astray here and there, but this kind of training of retracing even this kind of the same gesture, retracing exactly as you did, try to this and you know, retrace this as closer as possible. It's very good exercises. And a much even complex would be the J, for example. So you go this way, and you go that way. Yeah, you go this way, and you go this way. Yeah, so you just kind of go and repeat the same form, you know, one way and the other. So again, you go for kind of and try to get as perfect as possible angularly always, yeah. Do this kind of form and try to, of course, retrace these forms, yeah. We go there and we kind of retrace this form exactly as we did it from the beginning. So on this digital surface is much more complex, these exercises, because they demand a lot of focus, a lot of concentration in order to do them perfectly well, and try to make them, of course, with the hand in the air. Yes, so you just kind of go and the hand is in the air. Yeah, you're not kind of touching with your hand, you know, the surface of the tablet, and try to after go through these lines, you know, this way and the other, yeah, and try to have it fun. You see, it's very difficult, yes. Even me in drawing kind of, oh, of course, smaller would be easier, yeah. If I would do kind of smaller, for example, on the paper, there's no problem. But here, because any tablet you take, either the vacuum or the Sensor Labs or any other Huon, whatever, yeah, it's still sliding. So you don't have the same control as you would have on the paper, yes? So on the tablet, you actually not have the same control of the surface, because any kind of, you know, lack of focus, right away, what is happening, you go astray, yeah? So on the tablets, you have to really focus when you do these exercises with bigger precision, yeah. You have to really, you know, thinking about what you're doing. And the same going to use the J, yeah. So on the digital tablets, everything is sliding. And the same is, of course, on the iPad and so on. Those surfaces are far away from paper, but we can, with the constant practice, everyday practice, we can actually make it our, we can actually adapt them as the sketching surfaces. Yeah. Of course, I like to use the tablets in the kind of realistic manner, kind of natural manner, as I would draw on the paper. But still, that's something which, of course, needs a little bit, much more practice of coordination and everything. The more you practice this kind of exercises, better you're going to, of course, be. Yeah. And with the J, for example, yeah, go with the J, yeah, go with the J. Or you can also make it kind of a little bit larger, those, yeah. So, for example, you can also make it a bit larger, yeah, the ellipses, yeah. So you can go the J, the ellipsis larger, the J, the ellipsis larger, the J, and the ellipsis larger, yes. And retrace it, yes. And the same is with the I, you can go that way and make it either smaller or larger, yeah? So the same is with the I, you can go, make it the ellipses larger or smaller, whatever is the case, yes? So whatever exercises I was kind of showing you on this video, yeah, with all these 3 different kind of surfaces, you can try to do it and kind of master your coordination. So you can much more nicely, much more easy sketch and adapt the surfaces, the digital surfaces of the tablets, yeah, to your kind of, digital sketching, and try to pretend that you draw on the paper. Of course, maybe in the future they're going to create a surface which would really correspond with the real paper, when you can have full control of the strokes. But on the digital surfaces is still sliding, whatever they would do, is still kind of sliding. So any kind of sketching is without these exercises is going to be very difficult. It is why many artists use the all kind of tools like rulers, like circles making, ellipses, whatever. Yeah. But that's the artist's choice, of course. I don't like it. I really use the surface of the vacuum tablet or Xensel Labs or iPad as I would draw on the paper. So it is a little bit much more difficult, yeah, but it's fun, yeah. And with the practice, you can actually, any kind of surface you can actually imagine as a paper surface, yeah. So smile and draw and try to kind of, behave yourself and that way on the surface of digital tablets as you would draw on the paper. So have fun on this. And so let's start. So for example, first, of course, proportions, yeah. I'm going to look approximately what kind of proportions I might have it here, yeah. So that's approximately something like this. Of course, the lines doesn't important if they're perfect or not, just because I want to know approximately the proportions. So there's approximately 2 squares, yeah. Well, perfect square is going to be somewhere there, 1, 2 squares, and this is a bit larger. And this is going to be approximately 1/3, less or more 1/3, yeah, approximately something like that. So the kind of proportions, I know I start for the base because it's the easiest part to start, yes. And now you can draw this exactly as it is. One point conversion is on the right and the other conversion point is on the left, but you don't have to. You can treat, whenever you draw from the pictures, you always use them as a reference only, unless you really precisely need to do the same thing. But I don't going to kind of do this really exactly as it is. I'm going to use my kind of own perspective. So for example, I'm going to change a little bit the angle of the perspective. Let's say something like this. So I'm going to choose, so I already choose one convergence and I'm going to choose another one going that way. Yeah. So now I'm going to, speculate a little bit on the proportions. So for example, that's going to be my base. So as you know, I need 2 squares and 1/3. So 1 square is going to be approximately this or more here. How I know that this is a square? Well, look, if I add a little bit more, I'm going to have yeah, rectangle going in that way. But if I put another line a little bit less, even 1-2 millimeters less, I'm going to have rather rectangle going that direction, you see. So you only balance that way that you have impression like this might be kind of square. And now if you want to repeat the square, for example, you know, because you have 2 squares and 1/3, so you need another 1 square and 1/3 of it. So there's one way of doing this, if you want to have perfect proportions in this perspective you choose to do. So you will kind of connect diagonally the corners, for example, yeah, a little bit better, yeah, a little bit much more exactly. Yeah, sometimes I'm drawing kind of free-handed, so not using any tools. I never use it anyway. So I always try to do three-handed. So basically I treat the tablet as a paper. I try to. So you have, you see, this kind of, you know, middle here. From the middle, you go with the line as I did there in the middle, and you're going to have this kind of crossing here, yes, on this edge. So from any corner, that one or that one, if you just kind of make straight line, yeah, through this point until you cross this edge, so you're going to have approximately another square there, yeah. If you do this right, it should be much more, you know, shorter somewhere there, yeah. So anyway, so you do another square, for example, approximately, let me just clean this a little bit, yeah, it's too a little bit messy, yeah. So a little bit like this, yeah, you have the second square, and you need 1/3 only here, yeah. So you can do it that way, that you can kind of do another one. Again, you connect diagonally the corners, you're going to have the half of the square, and then you do another diagonal here and there, yeah, okay, and you're going to have another middle, so you have this, and you're going to go another diagonal there, another diagonal there, you have another middle, yes. And now you take 1/3 off from here and 1/3 off from there, and you're going to have approximately, you see, 1, 2, and 3 spaces. So if you want to now make this 1/3 perfectly, you will do the same. From one corner, you go to this point, you see, that way, yeah, and you're going to have it exactly, approximately, of course, this space. So all the spatula is approximately this kind of surface, yeah, this kind of surface and proportions, yes, the first part of it, okay, the one which is here. Okay, details we're going to do later. So now we just go a little bit. I'm going to move this drawing a little bit lower, yes. And now you see that you have certain angle there, yeah, certain angle of this part. And but first you have to find the proportions of it, okay. So basically you should go rather this way, that you put vertical here and vertical there, yeah. And exactly when you have this kind of, you see, part here, yeah, now vertically the middle, if you just connect the diagonals, yes, the diagonals, the middle, you see, is here, okay. You have this point, yeah. So you see, but this is much more farther, isn't it? Okay, so you would have to go whatever is necessary to get this kind of middle point there. So quite, you see, you have to go this space out. So first, let's figure out the proportions of this part. Is 1 square and approximately 1/3. This part, yes. So I go there vertically, yeah. I'm going to make it 1 square and 1/3. So in general, you have to divide this entire space in 4. So you're going to have the first square, you have the square you have approximately here, yeah, okay, and 1/3. So you approximately find out the proportion of this part. And now you have to move it so much approximately to have this angle. So from the middle part here, you will go there, yeah, approximately as the perspective goes, yeah, a little bit this way. But what you have it, I'm going to choose another color here, yeah, I'm going to choose another color like blue, for example. Now, what you have it there is that this part of the metal, which gets to the handle is not like this, that you have in profile this surface, then you have that, and we found the angle, which is approximately something like this, and this part blue, yeah, this part of the spatula is not going parallelly to the surface, but is in angle. So if it's in angle, what you have to do? Well, here you found what? The angle of the triangular part, yes? So basically, from approximately somewhere from here, yeah, okay, you will go and make, for example, 1/3 here, another 1/3 going to be there, so you're going to have this kind of triangle of the spatula. But now you don't go that way, but you have to go angularly, yeah, angularly, yeah, and you see it's approximately angle like this. So if you follow here, you will have approximately less or more the angle there. So now I have to just take this off from here, so you would kind of see exactly what I mean. Now we have to find the proportions, yeah, I have to find the proportions of this part over here, yeah, and it's going to be approximately 1/2 and maybe 1/4, yeah. So if I go now that direction, yeah, that direction, I'm going to have approximately 1/2 and 1/4 somewhere there, yeah, somewhere there, okay. So I can kind of return to my red color, for example, yes, and I can kind of go and make it less or more, the handle going to go less or more somewhere around in this angle, yeah. Meanwhile, the base on the table, the surface of it is like this, you see, like that, okay. So the handle, how long is the handle? From here to there, you have approximately the same space as from here to the end of the spatula, yeah, and the resembles less or more the same. You can measure to have exactly this, but we're just sketching. So approximately this is going to be approximately the spatula, the handle finished somewhere there, yeah. So we can kind of generate, you see the forms of it, yeah. So you have approximately form like that. This is approximately 1/4, you see, when you have this kind of conical form. And after you have kind of a little bit straight, and then you have another 1/4 is kind of much more rounded. So you will first make yourself kind of the spaces, yes. So approximately going to go 1/4, so you divide in 4, yeah. And the first 1/4, if you go with the perspective, you will have a little bit kind of conical this form here, yeah, okay. And then you go a little bit kind of straight, but in perspective, yeah, over there. And then this part is going to be a little bit kind of oblique, yeah, a little bit rounded here and there, yeah, over there. There's some more. So now you put volume to it, yes, you put volume to it. So you're going to have kind of, you know, in volume, it is going to be something around those lines over here, over there, and you will see a little bit here and there, the volume coming, yeah, and also a little bit of volume here and there. And on the other side, slightly higher here, and oops, sorry, and there, yeah, something like this, yeah. So you have less or more this. Now you have to kind of make it rounded this, rounded the corners, yeah, because the spatula is kind of folded there. So you have rounded spaces, and you have also the corners a little bit kind of broke and so on. So now you kind of ready actually to draw this, but I would do something else yet before we start drawing this spatula. And I would kind of project the shadow, because you see you have shadow there. So now look, what angle of the shadow you have here the base, and there's the base, yeah. So the angle of the light goes approximately that way, yeah. So the same going to happen there, yeah, okay. You see the end of the shadow, yeah. So it depends what kind of angle of the light, you know, penetrating the object you choose. That is going to be the you know, how long you're going to have and what kind of shape of the shadows you're going to have. One thing you know for sure, that the light is going exactly straight like this, but is going from a kind of angle 45 degrees from the top, okay. So this makes you what? You know that the surface is along this line, yeah. And now it depends what kind of angle. Let's say we choose this kind of angle. So now you know one thing, that this base is here, yeah. So we just connect, you see, one over there and one over here. So here you have the shadow of this part, isn't it? Yeah. And now the handle, if you use the same angle, approximately like this, because the daylight, this is kind of, let's say, the daylight is the beams of the light are parallel. So you're going to have the end of this handle there. So you're going to have what? A little bit larger now here, and you're going to go a little bit this way. You go this way, yeah, sorry, a little bit better, yeah, like this. And then you have a little bit kind of oblique part. So the same you do here, a little bit out. You go there, and you have kind of a little bit oblique this part here and there. So you can actually generate the other shadow how it is going to be. Yes. So if you have it, for example, strong light, so you're going to have darker shadow here and much more lighter going to be at the end. Okay. So we have everything what we need to finish the spatula, sketch. Yeah. So let's go. I'm going to kind of dim this little bit. Yeah. This layer, and I'm going to use another layer here and choose, let's say, kind of bluish color here, Prussian blue. And now I'll try to draw this much more nicer lines of this spatula. I can actually make it this drawing a little bit, the sketch a little bit larger, yeah, a little bit larger, yeah, so we can kind of have, a better view of it. So you see, I did different angle. So I would suggest anytime you draw from the picture, you always do this, because otherwise, unless you need it. So normally I would like try to make the straight lines of this part. Those are the harder ones here. Yeah. So that's the most kind of complicated, because you have to do with one stroke quite nice straight line. And you go there a little bit, yes, and you know that the corners are a little bit kind of, this way, yeah. And now look, you have the triangular part, so you go there, also one stroke, but you always leave space between the strokes, yeah, because in general, when you draw metal things, and not only metal but any kind of object, you always have thicker and lighter lines. Here's a little bit what rounded, yeah. So let's try to do this kind of rounded part here, and the same little bit rounded there, and again a little bit rounded here, yeah, this way, and it goes to the handle, and from here you would have this kind of only angular part there, yeah, a little bit nicer, yeah, something like this. So you know that the metal part gets to this handle somewhere here. Now you see you have fold here and fold there, so you don't do lines, yeah, you have to do it a little bit, for example, 1, 2 lines here and 1, 2 lines here. That would indicate you the roundness, yeah. And the same you're going to do, of course, here, yeah, a little bit, for example, 1, 2 lines here, and another kind of 1, 2 lines like this. And you can actually indicate also, because this part is a little bit in shadow, so you can put some kind of lines, kind of like shading, yeah. And the same you can do, of course, on this part, yes. So you see, this kind of goes around. And furthermore, you can go, of course, if normally this would be much more chrome surface of the metal, or very shiny, so you would have, of course, this kind of, you see, reflections in it, yes. So we're gonna, but even if you do kind of few lines, let's say like, oops, sorry, a little bit vertical, a little bit much more like this, yeah, over a little bit here, a little bit there, and some kind of stroke here, yeah, a little bit closer, yeah, thinner stroke, but a little bit closer to the contour line, you will have also here. So it kind of indicates you a little bit the metallish kind of surface there, yes. So and at the end, this part, you can always, the parts of this drawing which are in shadow, which is this, yeah, you can emphasize a little bit, you see, darker contour there, because normally what's going to happen, you're going to have some kind of darker, this shape, and maybe a little bit darker over there, yeah. And the same going to happen here, oops, here, yeah, and a little bit here, okay. So now let's go with this handle. So the handle, you know, that is there, and you do the same strokes, yeah. This kind of strokes, you go, leave a little bit space there, yeah, make a little bit kind of rounder this part, yeah, a little bit kind of, and rounder like this. And from here, you're going to have this kind of, flat surface there, the plastic one, yeah, maybe not so thick, a little bit thinner, yeah, and you go with this kind of conical form, and the same you have over there, yeah, a little bit kind of like this, and you go with the conical form. So now you know that this part is the edge of this, yeah, somewhere there, yeah, we have the edge of this spatula kind of handle there, yeah, like this, yeah, something around those lines, and you have what? Core shadow there, but it's rounded, so you do just 1, 2 lines, 1, 2 lines, yeah, and the same you do here, yeah, 1, 2 lines, yeah. Okay, so you're going to have kind of the roundness. You see, you feel the roundness there, yeah. You can add a little bit, of course, some kind of shading here, some kind of shading over here, yeah, and a little bit maybe somewhere there, and you have, and you now emphasize because this is a little bit in shadow, so you just kind of make it stronger here and stronger here, yeah, approximately, yes. Okay, here and there, you know, and you have kind of the, you know, dimensionality there. If you want to kind of emphasize a little bit the dimensionality of this handle, add a little thin, for example, little thin line somewhere here, a little something here, and a little something there. If you do this, you see, you feel much better the roundness of this object, yes? Of course, you can put it some kind of shadow there, yeah, so you might have also some kind of gentle line over here, yeah, okay? So you see, when you draw from pictures, you have to transfer the picture to the drawing. So it's kind of, especially in design, when you sketch, you have to do that. Otherwise, if you want to be hyper realistic, of course, you will you know, apply the shadows exactly as they are and so on, and get it much more, you know, realistic. But this is kind of quick sketch, yes, design sketch rather, yeah. So you can, after, of course, you can put some much more, you know, shading here and there. Yeah, you can, you know, if you take kind of, you know, a paper, whatever, you can make much more, you know, elaborated in the shading all together. Yes, and the same here, you can put it and make it much more, you know, a little bit, you know, elaborated the shading over here. So anything you do more, it's going to be much more metallic looking like, yes. And the same here, of course, if you would go, you can put a little bit something, oh, sorry, go a little bit in the perspective. Yeah, this you have to really take care about this. At any kind of lines you put there, you know, go kind of according to the perspective. So you can still work in certain nuances here and there, yeah. Roundness, for example, yeah, the same here, you can emphasize a little bit, yeah, this part, so we get kind of much more is really, you know, dimensional form and so on. And of course you do this shadow, so you know, now you know that if you go that way, you see that way, yeah, so you're going to have approximately somewhere there, yeah, the triangle, and over there it's going to be somewhere there, and from there you're going to have this kind of thickness there, you go there, yeah, and you go kind of straight there and very lightly there. So the same you do here. If you go with the perspective, so somewhere here, you will have the little bit larger form. Oops, yeah. And you have, of course, a little bit the straight form over there, yeah. There's a more, yeah, something like this. And you have the rounded part. So now we kind of play with, you know, put some kind of, you know, cross hatching, whatever there, yeah, some kind of lines for the shadow, yeah, so we can kind of go and let's say gently, you know, spread this shadow over there. So if I turn this out, I have something of this kind. Of course, you can take, you know, you can work a little bit better on this shading and so on. You can make it a little bit darker from here and lighter over there, yeah. So it's kind of takes some time, but okay. So you see, it's kind of very fast sketch of the spatula. And in kind of reasonable proportions, yes. So far, if we're talking about the performance of the tablet and the pencil, the ergonomic one, yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, I like it. How it works is very really convenient. Yes. And even the edge of the tablet on the right side, it doesn't bother me too much, but some kind of a beginner might be a little bit maybe, you know, might maybe prefer to have rather, you know, something much more, you know, as is from the front, a little bit to the edge, kind of the level, a little bit to the surface of the tablet table, and on which the tablet is posed. But in general, Very convenient, very nice. And when you walk, actually wear the gloves, you don't feel these edges much. If you without the glove, it's going to bother you for sure. But anyway, the tablet itself, the performance is great. I like it. And so far, and let's try now to sketch a little bit, of course, something like organic. So now we're going to try to draw with the pencil like looking pen, and we'll try to draw much more organic form, yeah, a little bit different style. And I choose, of course, for this exercise the human ear, because it's very, interesting form, and especially for the beginners, when you want to try to kind of learn the shading and everything nicely, the ear is one of the best forms to practice on. So let's go. First, of course, before we start, we're going to kind of, estimate the proportions. Yes. So what we do, of course, vertical line here to the exterior part of the ear. We're going to kind of circumscribe the ear in some kind of form, whatever it is, with the straight lines, horizontal and vertical. So what we have so far here, look, one square going to be approximate, oops, a little bit lower, somewhere there, oops, a little bit better, somewhere there. This is approximately one square. How I know? Again, if I put it this, it's going to be horizontal. If I going to put it a little bit that way, it's going to be vertically horizontal. So it's approximately right. And if you want to make sure that you have the right square, it's always better to kind of connect the diagonals, find the middle of the square. Yeah. So that way and that way. Yeah. Okay. And at the same time, it's very good practice for making straight lines. Yeah. So you put vertical here, and you put, of course, horizontally to divide also horizontally this part. You see, it's almost square. Actually, kind of not bad. It's close. Yeah. It should be maybe a little bit higher slightly here in order to have 4 the same squares. But anyway, in the air, we draw organic forms. So in organic forms, the proportions, if you miss something here and there, is not as big, problem there. At the same time, you might right away see if you're going to do this for 1 square and what? 1, I take the space, and I'm going to try to multiply here in this. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1/5. So 1 square and 1/5. So let's go. Let's first do the kind of rectangle there. Yeah. Like this, approximately, let's say like that. And first, I'm going to kind of try to find the square a little bit higher. Oh, it's too high. A little bit like this. Seems to me correct, but let me just verify this. You're always better if you want to be kind of perfect or close to it. You always verify. Yeah, do this kind of diagonal lines might sometimes be tricky. So, but anyway, it's oops a little bit further. You see, if you do this perfectly. Yeah, it's a little bit off because I didn't have this part here. Okay, but anyway, I can adjust this. And the middle here is there. So I have approximately 4 squares, so it's fine. And now I have to add what? 1/5 in order to have the same proportions as here. So let's go. 1/5. So I'm going to try to kind of, figure this out. 1 a little bit larger. 1, for example, 2, let's say 3, 4, 5, isn't it? So this 1/5, this space, I'm going to go there. So it's approximately here. It's so within this space, I have my ear. At the same time, of course, I can use this division. Yeah, I can use this division for what? For sketching very briefly right away the form of the ear, how it goes, isn't it? So you can do that. So for example, you can go somewhere here, that this kind of oval, kind of rounded form go like this approximately. From here to the half, you go this part over there, yeah. And you have somewhere here, you have the end over here. And now here is approximately 1/3. 1/3 is somewhere there. So from somewhere from here, you have this part of the ear. And that goes kind of, you see, that way, yes. So now this is the kind of end. So approximately 1/3 up somewhere from here, you have this kind of rounded part there, and it kind of gently goes to this, contour of the air. And of course, from here, the air goes approximately like this, yeah, like this. You have this kind of fall. So now, making the middle parts, yeah, so just kind of go, yeah, over there, and kind of go and kind of try to find out the folds, how it really shapes the air inside, yeah. So now we're going to have this approximately somewhere like this, yeah. Over there, you go this way, and you have this part, less or more that way. You go kind of follow here, and it's a little bit larger over here, yeah. Okay, and it kind of melts down, okay, you know. And here now the other one, you have approximately in the middle of the space somewhere there, you have this part, and it kind of raises up a little bit, yeah, and it goes kind of down here and so on. And from here you go this way, you go a little bit somewhere this way, you go a little bit that way, yeah, and you have this kind of, you see, fold there, yeah, kind of, you know, this form going this way, and it kind of, you know, disappears there, yeah, with the roundness. From here, of course, you're going to get the other part going, yes, which goes approximately like this, and it joins somewhere here, you see, it joins somewhere here, this part over there. So we can kind of clean this up a little bit, yeah, okay, a little bit clean this kind of details here. It's going to be a little bit going down there, yeah, there's or more. So that was a kind of, you know, gentle sketches, yeah, here and there. And you have another, of course, going like this. You have this kind of valley here, and you have another, of course, inside over there. So you're ready actually to draw the air. I'm going to make it a little bit kind of really low, yeah. So I just see barely this sketches. Normally, when you, of course, sketch on the paper, yeah, when you sketch on the paper, you should take care about that the construction lines are very light. You see, when I sketch something on the paper, I have approximately this kind of lines. I don't know even if you can see it, but digitally is no problem because you can always change the opacity and so on. But that's something I would suggest everybody, if you draw on the paper, you know, is different. But on the digital surface, it doesn't matter. So now I will choose, of course, the, you know, and I will choose another pencil like airbrush because I want to do this soft, yes, much more softer. So I will kind of get there, and I will try to kind of softly make the frame of the air. So I just kind of go there. Oops, there I go. With another layer, yeah. And now I go on this layer a little bit. I will first construct myself this, you know, outline of the form of the ear first, yeah, just briefly, so I can eliminate the under sketch, yeah, okay. So I can eliminate the under sketch. As soon as I do this, I would kind of move out the under sketch, and I would have this part approximately here. So now these parts go this way, somewhere like that, over here and over there, a little bit better, something around those lines. And here, of course, I have this, yeah, form over there. Oops, a little bit gentle, and goes this way approximately. From here, I have this part, and I continue with this inner kind of edge of this, you know, ear form. There's more this way and that way, yeah. And I'm going to have this kind of form here and this kind of form there. Okay, so I can eliminate the red, and I have my ear approximately done. So now, of course, I'm going to make it a little bit larger, my brush, and kind of make a little bit medium opacity. And I will kind of briefly just, you know, pre-sketch my shading, you know, forms, yeah, how's it gonna approximately go here and there, yeah. So kind of don't rush, take your time. Is better add. Of course, digitally is no big deal because you can always, you know, take it off on whatever. But if you draw on the paper, you have to be careful with this, not to go too fast. Gently, 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 yeah. So anyway, that's about digital tablets. So doesn't really matter now, and we go here and there, yeah, a little bit. So I will just kind of go and make it a little bit, you know, the first kind of, you know, shading there. Here is a little bit darker, yeah. So just, but anyway, even if it's darker, you just go very nicely, yeah. And this part, you see, you have kind of some kind of shading. After it's a little bit lighter, and again, you have something going on there, yeah. So And we go further. So somewhere there, yeah, you will have, of course, this kind of, things going on, yeah, a little bit. You see, gently try to form this shading as gently as possible, yeah. Okay, and of course you go here, yeah, with this kind of edge there, and you have, the inner surface there, kind of, deep and kind of shadow there, yeah. So you just kind of go there, and a little bit kind of disperse this to this, kind of here, yeah, over there, a little bit, yes, and you do the same there, so kind of gently disperse this in the slides here, and this kind of joins the inner part over there, yeah. So in order to do this better, I will just eliminate the contours a little bit, yeah, and kind of soften a little bit the contours now, yeah. So I leave this kind of smooth part behind, but the contours I would kind of, make it less visible, yeah. And I would adjust them, of course, much more better with, it's always better to have the contours on one layer and the shading on another layer, so you wouldn't have to do what I am doing here now. But it doesn't matter, even if you forget to do this, you can make it what I am doing now. So just kind of really reduce the contours, because if you use cross hatching, it's fine, but if you use kind of much more realistic, shading, you cannot have those, a line kind of indicating things, because it's going to be kind of visible. So let's go now, and now we can kind of push it a little bit, yes. So we know that this part is a little bit stronger, yeah. So you just kind of go there, yeah, and disperse, yeah, gently. Now you have a little bit stronger over there, yeah. So just kind of go there, yeah, and a little bit disperse a little bit here and there, yeah. And the same goes with this part of the ear over there, yeah. So if we're talking about now, if I have to judge the pencil, it's actually working very nicely, yeah. It's really nicely allows me to do this kind of softer, application of the shading here and there, yeah. So kind of really, it's very, this tablet really performs very nice, yeah? Very nice. It's kind of, so far, it's very, very good, if you buy one, you're going to be really happy with it, because it's really kind of working very nicely here, yeah. Of course, if you look like tablets, I prefer tablets, as I mentioned in the introduction at the beginning. Tablets for me is the best, actually, and very healthy at the same time, because you don't get tired. I can draw all day and I don't have problem with it. So with anything, because of the position, straight, seated, everything without any kind of, problems in there, no pain, nothing can be neck or something. So you go a little bit here, yeah, and just kind of push it. So again, we translate the picture to the drawing, So that's very important to do when you want to can really use, when you have the pictorial references. Yeah, here I have to take it off a little bit. The line is too strong, this line, yeah, over there. So I cannot do smooth. Okay, now I'm okay. So let's go. So so as I mentioned, you have to kind of, these tablets in general are very kind of comfortable, and you're never going to have problem with anything in your neck or something, because they allowed you to keep the posture perfectly, yeah. So we go here and there. I'm going to make this a bit larger, for example, here. So I have kind of smoother a little bit this kind of tonization here. And I am really touching gently. And this pencil allows me to really do very soft, very soft passages and everything. So really, so far, I am very happy with this. And let's maybe put full and go a little bit over here. Put some kind of darker surface behind the ear, yeah. So let's say I would kind of apply a little bit darker surface here for be able to finishing the nuances of the ear with the shading around. You don't have to do that, of course, but that's only study of the ear. You don't draw the hair or something. So if you want to practice yourself in digital sketching or something, ear is a great thing to learn how to, apply the shading and everything, because you see you have all kind of graduations there, yeah, and on this kind of forms of the air, and the graduation actually is very kind of specific. So you would have to do certain things very light, others a little bit kind of darker, and so on. Yeah, so that's why it's so nice to practice on the air. Anything you want to do, you're going to be well prepared for, of course, the other nuances. You can take also, of course, after the eraser, and if you want to kind of make it a little bit something smoother or something, you still can do it. And the same as here, you can make it a little bit softer. You see this kind of degradation to the white and so on. Yeah, you can make it some kind of strokes in there. Anyway, so let's get back to the pencil, and now we're going to do a little bit much more nuances. So again, I'm going to make this opacity a little bit lighter. And now we know that the base of this ear over there, you see, you have a little bit something, yeah, a little bit something smoothly going, you see, inside there, yeah. So you have some kind of, let me just do this a little bit larger, yeah, over there. So kind of much more smoother, yeah, much more smoother in there. You go there, and you're going to have this kind of, smooth thing here. From here, you're going to have a little bit this part, yeah. And now, if you make this a little bit thinner, you will go with this elements here. So you're going to have a little bit normally, if you want to show dimensionality of the air, as I said, you have to translate the form to the drawing from the picture. So normally, if you want to have this air dimensional, you have to add core shadow, yes? And because the light is rather from that direction, so you're going to have this core shadow moving now to this right side over there, yeah? Right side over there somewhere, yes? So you go there, and you have some kind of gentle nuances here and there, you see, with this form, and you have here a little bit, yeah, something, yeah? So you just kind of try to make this nuances a little bit, on the air surface here and there, yeah? You after can use the eraser, you can tonize this still a little bit, and here you have a little bit something, yeah. Okay, so this forms a kind of very particular of the ear, yeah. You have a little bit softer here. Furthermore, this entire part over there is kind of connects to this part over here, yeah. So you're going to have this kind of nuances. Now we can kind of go a little bit, stronger with certain elements. So for example, here you have very dark, yeah. So just push it a little bit. It's a little bit too thin now, just a second, yeah. Something like this. So we can push it a little bit here, yeah. And softly, what? Softly kind of go, out, yes? Softly out. And again, a little bit stronger there, a little bit stronger there. And you have the edge of it there, yeah, like this. And you have a little bit somewhere there. You see, you have this kind of little bit stronger, darker form in there, yeah. So just kind of go gently. And so far, the pencil is perfect, yeah. Listens to me all the time, whatever I push it a little bit, whatever is there, this kind of really nice, cooperation together we have here, yeah. So you have the kind of core shadow there, and you're going to have some kind of elements here. So a little bit you have to push it, because as I said, picture is picture, but drawing is drawing. So you have to kind of, make those things, work exactly, translate a little bit the picture to the, of course, drawing, yes. So in drawing, sometimes you have to push certain nuances, which on the picture you see that is very kind of smooth, yes. But here you have to go a little bit much more stronger in there, and you have this kind of deep, fill there, and it's kind of going a little bit, and after it's softer, and so here over there it goes a little bit much more stronger, because is this kind of the niche inside the ear, yes, over there. So you kind of push it a little bit this, and here from here you will have a little bit stronger over there, yeah, a little bit stronger something in there, yeah, and you disperse this, yeah, disperse this to the surface, so everything is very nice and smooth. And of course, this shade you will kind of mirror it together with this form over there, yeah, something like that, yes. So now you can go there, you will kind of push it a little bit there, and there will have this kind of form. So this is kind of, slightly one melting into the other, yeah. One is melting kind of gently to the other in there, yeah. So after we're going to take the eraser, of course, and make it a little bit nicer here. So I'm going to add a little bit core shadow there, so I have this kind of, a little bit, if you push it a little bit, anytime you push the core shadow a little bit more, yeah, so you're gonna have kind of much more dimensional, forms of the ear, and the same here, yeah. If you go kind of and push it a little bit, you see you're gonna have this form of the ear getting more and more 3D, yes. So that's something you have to kind of sometimes push, and the same I'm going to push it here now. I need to kind of make it because this part's a little bit stronger, so I just kind of push it a little bit, these shades here, and you see this entire form over there, yeah, is a little bit darker here, yeah, okay, over there. It goes a little bit here, is a little bit lighter, there's a little bit darker. You see all this part is a little bit darker, yeah, and you go now to this point, yeah, over there, okay. In order to do this perfectly, you will always have to adjust here the thickness, whatever. I try to do it with one thickness because otherwise it would take too much time to if I would play with the thicknesses, with the opacities and everything. So that's something you have to kind of learn to of course, if you have time, you can do that. Yes, you can make it. So now I would have this entire form. I'm going to take the eraser to fix this. And this is kind of here, yeah, a little bit dispersed here and there. And I would kind of add a little bit core shadow there, a little bit darker, yeah, over there. So I would have this kind of here, much more, you see, dimensional here, yeah. And the same I would do there. So again, I'm talking here about translation of the picture to the drawing. If I want to emphasize the kind of roundness of this part of the ear, I have to do that, yeah. I have to kind of push it certain things here and there. Yeah, in order to get this kind of, you see, that's kind of always melting together. So in order to have this kind of form much more, dynamic, and the same I will go now with the edge, the exterior part of the ear. So I'm going to push it a little bit, the edge, yeah, so this kind of really shapes the ear much more, stronger shape and so on. Yeah, I can have, of course, some kind of strokes over there. Yeah, you can make this degradation very smooth, of course, yeah, behind the ear, if you like, if you have time to do that. So now, oops, sorry, a little bit too much. Yeah, so very gently, the contours kind of really push a little bit, so they kind of really dark here, yeah, over there. So you have this kind of contrast, and here is a little bit darker, yeah, this part, yeah, and you go kind of too much more lighter here. So again, a little bit much more push here, yeah, over there. So you have the contrast of these parts a little bit much more, pronounced here and there, yeah. The same over there, yeah. Can kind of go and make it a little bit like this, and over here everything kind of melts together nicely. Yeah, you're gonna have a little bit something there, yeah. So if you push a little bit, you're gonna have the dimensionality of this part much more, emphasized there. And you go there, and you go there, and you go there. Of course, make this here perfectly. You would spend a bit much more time than I would like to spend here for it, because it's just kind of, but just indicate you how to do this. And the pencil, if I return again to this pencil, of the Exensor apps is great. So far my experience with the drawing on this tablet and using the pencils is really beautiful. So I would rather, if I have a choice to buy, let's say, vacuum or Exensor lamps, I would choose the Exensor lamps for one main reason, that I have two in one, and furthermore, you get the quick key and so on. So it's really actually, much better deal. Even there is some kind of slightly difference in the price or something, but performance is perfectly the same. I don't see anything worse. It's actually very nice, performance. This tablet and these pencils, which comes with it, perform perfectly well. So it's really something which is worth it to take in consideration if you want, of course, if you're searching for something, if you already want to start really with an artist and sketcher, whatever, or designer, whatever, that's something which you could consider interesting. And the only thing I would rather prefer personally, if you're serious about starting to draw digital art and everything, or painting, whatever, I would suggest maybe a little bit larger this tablet. Buy the medium size, not the very small ones, because the very small is really small. And the thing is that me, I'm much more used to draw on the surfaces, like, for example, medium ones, which resemble a little bit the space, the size of the sketchbook. An average sketchbook, less or more, is either 8.5 by 11 or is 12 by 9 or something like this. So with it, this is going to be kind of, for me, I would rather prefer to have the medium size than the small one, because it would allow me to kind of feel much more like I would kind of, especially if you sit somewhere, because on those tablets, you can actually sit whenever you want in the room, and you can sketch, yeah, and looking, if you have big screen, you can actually go there and sit on the sofa or something, yeah, and you can actually go and, enjoy the sketching from a little bit, some distance here, yeah, here and there. So a little bit, just kind of nuances here and there, yeah. So you still can kind of make it maybe a little bit softer, some parts here and there, yeah. Just kind of, this is kind of work which you kind of have to really study the surface of the ear and make it a little bit certain adjustment after, yeah, either with the eraser or something. So this kind of nuances in the shading is, and these pencils and this, tool, what I have it here now, allows you to do perfectly. Yeah. So I would really personally recommend this tablet and these pencils, because it's really nice. Yeah. And I think it's worth it, every penny. You're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and you have two beautiful performing, pencils. So it's something I would really suggest. I would definitely recommend to anyone who would like to start, of course, drawing, in digital, on the digital surfaces. Anyway, we can continue, do kind of much more work here and there, but this would take kind of a little bit, maybe half an hour more. You would do this here super hyper perfectly. Yeah, but regarding just we're going to stop here, because regarding the performance is actually pretty good. It's great. So this pencil is great. Yeah, and probably you can do the same probably with the ergonomic one as well, because it was performing perfectly well with the technical drawing I have done there. So that's approximately the kind of fast sketch of the ear. Of course, there's still some work to be done here and there in order to make this perfect. But I think it's a little bit more here. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit more kind of the. And you see, I'm touching really nicely, and this pen really follows me. Yeah, it follows me. It's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice, really nice. This kind of nuances, you can make it perfectly well. You can make it perfectly well. So a little bit eraser, a little bit this brush and something. So you just have to go around and play with one and the other, a little bit here, a little bit there, to get this kind of nice forms here. So a little bit you see it enter a little bit with this over here, yeah. So a little bit kind of playing. It's really beauty, to kind of really trying to find the points, the spaces which kind of allows you to make this ear much more and stronger and so on. So a little bit here, a little bit lighter, yeah, over there, this part, yeah, a little bit here and there. So kind of you see a little bit here, a little bit there, yeah, a little bit here, a little bit there. It's kind of really nice, play. And this pen. Thank you very much, everyone, and see you next time on other videos about sketching and drawing in architecture and design.